I checked everything. Why does this always happen? Good day, Michael Wallacery. You know why? I think it's because last time I did my RWBY reaction. That's why.
Oh, apparently the same thing happened to the Bootcast.
Yeah, there we go. Good day, Michael Wallacery, part 2. Welcome to the Corner of Remnant.
Well, I was going to say, impeccable timing with the end of Bootcast, but apparently we're all just technical issues, being away for a number of weeks. I think that does that to you. I had a whole speaker audio issue before we started as well.
We did. That's why we were a little late, because we were having some tech issues, and then that happened. But yes, thank you for the read. I hope the Bootcast went well. I can replay that raid message, because, do-do.
My headphones are not cooperating again.
I'm combat ready. How is everyone? Thank you. I actually haven't had a chance to talk to Kaylee before the stream, so thank you. Yes, happy day of your birth. Thanks, Corey. So yes, I didn't really do our intro very well, but I'm your host, Larissa, and joined by co-host Emperial Dawn,
who is going through speaker issues, but thinks he's got it again.
Yes.
So if you hear a bit of feedback, my apologies, just because my speakers are swapping over.
I'll let you know if there is, but you're good at the moment.
Yes, I'm Dawn. Hello. I'm
co-host.
I am the non-artist. I'm just the speaker for this week.
Well, you still have done art. I get asked about the art all the time. Oh god, I'm moving the wrong way. See? No, not the bottom one. That one.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes. So yeah, Dawn didn't do an art piece this week, but that doesn't matter. He's got plenty of art. I've still got last week's art on there if you missed it. Not last week. Oh my god, last podcast. It's been too long.
It has been too
it's
long,
already a mess. Yeah. So last podcast we discussed chapter 7, which we did a week later because otherwise it would have been at Christmas. So it was Dawn's birthday then, and today it's my birthday. So the party hat has moved. Where is it? The party hat was on Dawn's avatar set. It's now mine. But yeah. So yesterday we are discussing chapter 8. Also, Dawn just mentioned.
Did you say yesterday we are discussing?
Today, I don't know. I've been awake for like over an hour, and I've had breakfast and coffee, and my brain is still not switched on. It's shaking off the rust. It's been too long. Oh my god. It's only been a month. But
it's been a fair bit.
It has. The new episode stuff just dropped just as we were going live as well.
Yes, so if you're not interested, but I did just see that the next episode title, description, and duration was revealed.
Woo!
So the title of episode 9 is Witch. And the description is: the clock is ticking on Jean, Red, and Yang's rescue mission. The Aesops hold the line against Salem's forces. So it looks like we're getting Whale and front lines.
Yes, because we didn't get any of that in this chapter. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense with moving on with their part of the story and what's happening. Yes.
Which I think in hindsight was definitely something that, not why I watched the episode, in hindsight I was like, oh, we got all this way back and we only saw one bit of the story.
Yeah.
But again, like the mid-season wasn't planned, so it's not like the writers were writing their way around that kind of thing.
No.
But I'm very, very... But it made me all the more excited to see kind of the rest of the story.
Absolutely.
And while I was very sad when Mercury left the Whale, because I'm like, oh, Yang's heading to the Whale. Oh, it. But I've seen fan art and stuff now of Neo, and I'm like, oh, that's right, Neo. And
well, we don't know where Neo is. I'm assuming Neo didn't go with Cinder since we didn't see her at all this episode.
From the episode, so now it's like...
So, is she in the Whale?
But I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yes.
Just in case. Because Kubi doesn't always capitalize on...
Hey, Nick, thank you.
I will never use the word wasted potential, because I think that's a dumb thing. It doesn't exist. But they can't do everything, basically.
But overall, your thoughts of the episode?
Typically, per usual... this was an episode that everyone loved when they first watched it.
Yep.
So I wasn't. I enjoyed it, but the more I've gone back through it, I definitely enjoyed as much as everyone else did. But it's very typical to me that where when everyone loves it, I'm the one that has the problem with it, and then when everyone's I loved it.
Yep.
So that's very typical for me. and stuff. But no, over in now looking at it, yes, I really did like it in the end. Of course, nitpicky things as always.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy it, and I think I'm glad I'm glad, as usual, everything that happened was good.
Yeah.
Execution could have been better as always. But I have no problem story-wise anything that happened.
Yeah.
Really happy with everything and how the story plodded along for sure.
Well, overall, I really enjoyed it. My first thoughts of the episode, it was one of my favourite episodes of the volume so far. But yeah, I just really loved it. I thought it had some really sort of heart-wrenching moments that almost made me cry. There was lots of shocking moments and just some, like... I just really enjoyed it overall. To me, I thought it was paced well and everything, but I'm also one of those people who are not too nitpicky with things, especially shows and such that I really love, like RWBY.
Yeah.
So it has to be really, really bad for me not to enjoy it.
Oh, sure.
But I loved it a lot.
When I first watched the episode, it was the exact same way. I didn't have any nitpickiness when I first watched it, and then when I saw everyone else talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can guess I can see where I guess I see that point.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I somehow didn't enjoy the episode as much as everyone else did when I first watched it.
Yeah.
But didn't notice the nitpicky things.
Yeah.
Now I notice the nitpicky things. I enjoyed the episode more than I did. So weird. It is weird. Yeah. But my point always is, typically, especially with RWBY, if there's something you didn't like, it's probably, and I think this is fair to say, it's probably because there's something bigger to come.
Yeah.
And they've just, only have so much money and time to spend on.
Well, I thought for being the 100th episode, yes, it would have been great to see all 4 of the girls. Yes.
Yeah.
Though we did still get quite a big moment, which of course was the reveal with the Hound. And I definitely feel like that's going to be very important moving on. So for that to be shown in the 100th episode, I thought was awesome.
I also think this being sorry, but I also think this being kind of Whitley and Willow's episode.
Yeah,
is quite appropriate considering how big of a story they are to Weiss and her story.
Yeah.
Even though there were people that we didn't know were there to begin with, like we didn't know, for a long time if Whitley, Weiss had more family than just Winter or say the father or because for the longest time the only reference we got was she has a sister and she has a grandfather and a father.
Yeah, that's it.
From volume up to about volume 2, that's all we kind of got, and then we saw Winter obviously in volume 3, and then we got blindsided by Whitley in volume 4.
Yeah.
Not knowing he existed, and then we got teased about the mother, and it took us to volume 6 before we finally saw her.
Yes.
But they had really good moments here, and again, it's very satisfying to me as being a kind of a Whitley supporter and kind of being an advocate for him and his character and kind of how I'm sure he'll end up being in the end to actually kind of reach that point.
Yeah, well, interesting about the name, Nick, Willow. So that's what the fandom called her before it actually became a thing. So whether or not they actually named her that because the family called her that, or they just already had that picked, we won't know.
Yeah, that was the headcanon name.
Headcanon name, yes,
time.
For a long time. Yeah, and the music was amazing this episode too. Yes, absolutely, it was.
Yeah. I 100% imagine Boopcast mentioned this on their show, but I know Alex Abraham was talking about the music on Twitter at some point.
Yeah.
There were lyrics in a different language or something. In
yes.
This episode
So the section when the Hound is killed, there is the choir music that Nick's referring to. It's a bit hard to make out what they're saying, but it definitely feels like words. But it's like a choir sort of sing. It's very haunting. I love it.
There was
the choir said "Save Me." Oh yeah, maybe. I'd have to
there was
do
a
another watch
translation.
and listen to it.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind going back and trying to find it. But I don't know how long that will take. But it was an interesting translation of it all about being it actually translating to silver-eyed warriors and
oh, okay.
I am what I am and I've been taken and now I do what I must. Something like that. Again,
interesting.
Command said that he just made that on his own there's no deeper meaning to any of it. It's just he knew he was doing music for something related to Silver-Eyed Warriors, so he kind of just came up with something.
Yeah.
So again, no actual meaning to it all.
No. That's pretty cool.
But yeah. Might as well just jump around, just enjoy it because why not? But the Hound was definitely the main episode. He was he was arguably the main character of this episode.
Definitely.
Obviously, like, you know, if anyone ever watched like Infinity War or like some Marvel stuff, it's always interesting when you got such a big cast to go from the villain's perspective.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of get that approach to it all. Yeah, but the
can't wait for the soundtrack as usual. I love listening to the scores.
But yeah, like we kind of got like a big bad wolf moment.
Yes.
In a sense, and again, it kind of makes sense with the whole big bad wolf eating the grandma kind of thing, having someone inside them.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even think of that side of things, but yes,
which still makes me concerned for Maria because she is technically a silver-eyed warrior, and I'm curious if she were to get captured, could something like this happen to her? Obviously, that same thing is being discussed with Summer. Some things discussed with RWBY, and even Cinder. Discussion is happening. You know, how many of these will be houndified or whatever, or will Salem see this as a failed experiment because it failed, and maybe not do anything more beyond that. But obviously, what this means for Summer is also the big takeaway.
I still don't think it's anything related to Summer, but I could be wrong.
No, I'm definitely glad this wasn't. And
I'm glad it wasn't anyone we knew.
Yeah, and even if we do get another hound down the line, say if we do get a Summer hound down the line, I'm glad that we kind of got this teasing of this potential first.
Just let Summer be dead.
I know. I'm quite happy for her story, but also I'm not gonna be mad if she's not.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree that I think that her story is. But again, it's just that they have in those people's defenses. You say something about Summer, they have left it pretty open ended. Of Summer disappeared. We know that Summer pretty much isn't in that grave. We know that's more of a memoriam for her. We know that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it definitely seems. I definitely get why that's a thing.
I always feel like Monty knew what was going to happen with Summer, and that's going to be a big thing near the end of the series, I think. But I don't think it's got anything to do with the Hound, personally, or Grimm.
And again, I definitely think there's a lot more Summer to come.
Yeah.
Whether or not but I still am on the mind that she's still probably dead. We're going to learn more about stuff she did while she was alive, kind of thing.
Exactly. I think we were going to find out what her last mission was at some point, but. Yeah, it's a mystery that's going to be kept right till the end, I feel. And again, actually what happened.
I think what will be more...
prequel series, yes.
Yeah. I mean, they've said if RWBY keeps going well, even towards its end, they'll just keep going with it in other forms. Yeah. So
they could definitely do more. Yeah,
I'm definitely imagining that like the end of the series, we could like I'm just thinking, what would be more impactful? Say, Summer is still alive, good or evil or whatever. Or if it comes to the end of the series and Summer just Salem just says, "Oh yeah, I killed her."
Yeah.
And kind of like maybe that idea of any hope or anything you can see wash away from you and stuff like that, and because again, I mean, I've definitely seen that trope before where it's like there's this hope, there's this glimpse of a character being alive, and then all of a sudden it's just cut off. It's kind of like it reminds me a lot of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like Rey's hoping for her parents, and then Kylo just tells her, even though this was kind of. It wasn't end up being into the case. I want to say retcon because then that will get into the whole movie thing of retconning, and I don't want to get into that. Obviously, in Last Jedi, Kylo with that exact same scene where Kylo just kind of admits that your parents are nothing, they're dead, they're gone. Ignore it, kind of thing. It reminds me of something like that could happen. In the show,
I don't know.
Salem just kind of announces that to RWBY.
Anywho, we should move along because we've got a strict time limit. Let's go from the start of the episode through, unless there's anything else you want to mention.
No, please,
thoughts.
By all means. Please.
Okay. So we started, of course, with Crow waking up. They're in the holding cells, and you can hear the battle going on. And then the explosion, of course, being Cinder. Yes. There was an interesting little thing here because they look like. I don't know if it was Raven, but there was a bird. Yeah. It was squawking really loudly before everything fell down.
Yeah, so I remember the reason. When I first saw it, I did think it was Raven.
Well, I said Raven, and then everything was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Crow. I think it's pretty much confirmed that it is meant to be Crow.
I didn't even think that it could be Crow. Possibly, yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, well, the reason why I thought it was Raven at first because when you go back and look at that scene and the explosion happens, there's like a silhouette of some rubble. Before you see the bird, that kind of looks like Crow sitting there, like leaning, kind of like when he's like covering himself. You see it before, and then you see the explosion, and then you see because I thought you could see Crow in the background pic, but you go back and watch it, you realize Crow's whole cell is gone because it's Robin's cell, then Crow's cell, and all the rubble is where Crow's cell would be.
Yeah.
So his cell was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And Robin's just left open. So yeah, it was Crow basically turning into a bird to avoid the rubble and stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think of it being Crow, but yeah, that's yes.
I think he's got some the Crow has like some flicks on his hair that are actually more reminiscent to what we've seen of Crow's Crow in the past, rather than Crow's Corvid would actually be the more correct term.
Yeah.
Compared to Raven's Corvid.
Yeah. From
what we've seen. So it was. I'll admit again.
Oh yeah, it's the Mohawk stuff that Raven doesn't have. Yeah, that's Corey's thing.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, editing. I don't know if it was deliberately meant to be confusing.
Yeah.
If it was, it does a good job.
If we haven't seen Crow turn to a bird since it was the battle at the end of Volume 6, but.
Yes, but I remember if in that scene his model had any details, or was just the bird. I can't remember.
But you saw him turning into it. This was just suddenly there's a bird there. What? But it makes sense also because it was squawking directly at Robin, like warning Robin, even though of course it couldn't speak, being bird.
Yeah, it was just Crow doing what he could to survive, then trying to get Robin out of there.
Yeah. Very spur of the moment sort of thing. I didn't even think of it to be Crow. I'm probably going to get so many comments on my reaction now. It's not Raven, it's Crow.
Well, no, I think a lot of people at first did think it was Raven. Again, whether that was, and I'm hoping that was like a deliberate editing thing, kind of.
It doesn't make sense for it to be Raven because she's nowhere near. I just saw bird suddenly. It must be Raven.
Like if there was an idea that like Raven was going to break Crow out for whatever reason, I don't know the reasoning stuff. Like I think it's not. I don't blame people for thinking it's Raven. I think there's enough there, but then there are also people like
Norton. Stop.
People like Haley who are very much like, no, stop. Raven's not a thing. Stop thinking Raven's a thing. But Eddie has admitted on Twitter, one of the writers, that there was going to be a bit more Stark talk between Crow and Raven,
right,
in their prison scenes and stuff that are getting cut. But there was meant to be like Robin was trying to bring up Stark. So there's Stark vibes in the air.
Yes, yeah.
And
anywho.
Sorry, one more thing. If they're gonna call out a broadcast for help, the only person that could actually appear within the time frame would be someone who can teleport. That's all.
That is a good point too. Yes.
Gira and the Faunus aren't gonna get to Atlas in time.
Raven just creates a portal and they'll all just walk through. I can see how Raven will be a good plot device given everything going on. Yeah, very true. I
agree. It would probably feel out of nowhere, and it probably would feel a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see it happening. And again, RWBY have made a career out of doing weird things they don't expect, and it's still somehow working.
Yes.
So
never know. It might happen. Exactly. Yeah. When we move along from that scene, it's actually Nora waking up, which was good to see.
It confused me at first. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, the point of view was confusing, but I liked it. And we see Ruby Blake and Whitley bring in Penny, of course, who's all damaged.
Which was a cool detail. I don't think I noticed the first time I watched it, but the reason why Penny was leaking was to give a reason why the Hound was hunting each one the Hound was.
Yes,
was following the leaking trail.
I didn't pick it up straight away, but
after Whitley until finally finding Penny, because he was just following the leak. It was
following
the fluid trail.
The fluid trail, of course.
So I thought that was a really cool detail that I didn't catch the first time watching it. Only those people were the ones that were carrying Penny. Blake wasn't, and Blake never got attacked by the Hound.
No, so that's why it was focusing Ruby to begin with. Yeah.
That's also why Ruby looked at herself before she got dropped, because she was like, that's why the Hound's going to Penny, because she's looking at the stains.
Yes. Yeah. And also with the thoughts were that the Hound can't see very well. He relies more on scent than sight. A bit like dogs in a way.
As we theorize the most grim.
Yeah.
The Hound, obviously, is a tracker.
It makes sense.
Smell based.
Yeah. Before the Hound appeared, we did have the scene in Weiss's room. Yes. Power goes out as well, and Whitley has both Weiss and Whitley, but had the idea with the cargo ships to get the people from Mantle, the crater, which is awesome. I'm hoping.
Really good idea.
It is a great idea.
It's a really cool callback and stuff to the embargo and stuff that we've had. Volumes and volumes and volumes now for the embargo and all this stuff to come back in this really cool way, and I hope we get to see some of that Whether or not Cinder gets to them first, well, we don't know.
We don't know, but I think it's great too. Like Weiss and Whitley, like we have the company, we can do something, which is awesome. My only worry is when we saw May flying there, we could see the jellyfish Grim destroying one of the other ships. I'm like, oh no, I hope the Grim don't attack the cargo ships, taking the people away. Well, I thought maybe Argus, Corey, because their little ship was able to get from Argus to Atlas.
Yeah, but I guess the idea is if these cargo ships are too big, they're going to be taken down by those jellyfish-like things.
Yeah.
Military ships. Again, I will say that even though Atlas, I don't know, it's interesting, but I think regardless, it's better than just leaving them in the
absolutely
cradle, no matter what they do.
I think it's the risk.
Doomed, by the way.
And as they said too, that the Grim are busy destroying Ironwood's troops at the moment, the military and everything is keeping them busy, so hopefully they can get out of there without being seen. But I'm thinking Argus. I don't see why they would take them back up to Atlas, because that's not a safe place either, or even maybe somewhere in the tundra, but then you got the cold and not all of them would have aura.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could imagine
all the mines, maybe.
I mean, I think apart from the Hound and the Sentinels, I don't think the Schneemann would be the worst idea. I know it's on Atlas and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems a very large area that's very cut off from the rest of Atlas because it's on a mountain by itself.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a safe place though for them.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably safer than the crater. But I think the mines or Argus is probably a better idea. Again, I just feel like that if it was possible to escape just by going to Argus, I feel like, I don't know. Interesting. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see, because they haven't had access to any ships at all either. So now that they actually got access to these cargo ships, they'll be able to ferry some of the people away. Probably not all of them, but hopefully some of them.
Yeah. Amity would have been a good idea if it's not like on its way to crashing.
Yeah, at the moment, yes.
Amity's not a bad shout. Amity's not a bad shout, actually.
Yeah.
Because at least that way Sentinels aren't going to be crawling through it. Hopefully. But no, I really liked Weiss and Whitley coming together and kind of playing, and Whitley being just the MVP.
Yes.
For sure. I really like that, and obviously then Willow comes in to mention the power generator.
Yes.
And Klein was like, he's like, well, I mean, I can fix this thing, whatever it is.
I like this little talk with Ruby, because Ruby's like, there's too much going on. Like, there's Nora and Penny and the Grim, and I like how Klein was like, just focus on what's in front of you and do what you can do.
A part of me would like the idea. I've seen it floating around. I've seen many ideas floating around. So I'm only going to mention the good ones, because some of them episode. But some of the better ones I've heard for the episode is that I agree that I would have liked to have seen Ruby. Because we always say how Ruby is so much of a tech geek.
Yeah.
It's almost like I would have liked if she relished the opportunity to kind of try fix Penny herself, or at least help, because she's a tech geek and that might be a thing she's into. But I can also understand this is a trauma of a friend.
Oh God, yeah.
That she doesn't want to mess with or screw up or like deal with this. Because I can imagine that's it's a bit too traumatic for her to try to help her.
Yeah.
In a sense. I can see it like that.
I think more though, Ruby doesn't see Penny as being tech or an android, even though she sees her more as her friend. And I don't think she would even know where to start when it comes to trying to fix her.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Yeah, I guess it really depends on how similar Penny's anatomy is.
Yeah. Well, Klein said that
obviously her first model was very robotic.
Yeah.
We don't know how robotic this. It obviously has a metal skeleton as you see through the X-ray and stuff.
Yeah.
But, just how human-like is it actually compared to the previous model? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, and we know how much Penny means to Ruby, and it's very interesting because we see later on the episode too that it doesn't diminish how much Ruby cares for, say, Blake and Weiss.
Yeah,
I think she loves those two with almost everything she has, but it just shows that Penny is another level.
Yeah.
As much as she cares for a team, Penny is just that other level because she just knows how no bullshit she gets at the end of the episode.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. Penny's her friend, and not
true,
Corey.
not to shippy, but I think Penny is almost everything to Ruby since she's her best friend. Yeah, she is one of the most important people to her. And sure, you could argue, well, shouldn't she feel that way about Weiss and Blake? And I think she does, but I think also she's, for the past 2 volumes, she's seen what Penny has gone through and all the bullshit and manipulation and trauma that Penny's had to deal with. And I think that just kind of, RWBY wants to protect Penny more. And I like the add too that RWBY didn't use the Silver Eyes against the Hound at first because her intention there was to destroy the Hound. That was her intention.
Yeah.
She therefore couldn't use the Silver Eyes. Later in the episode, when her intention is to protect Penny, that's when the Silver Eyes work. Because again, the Silver Eyes' purpose is to protect life.
That's
not
true.
To destroy darkness.
Yeah.
So she wasn't trying to protect Blake or anything like that because Blake was fine. Blake wasn't in danger. But once Penny was, that's when the Silver Eyes worked later in the episode, which I think is a really nice detail.
Yeah. Yeah. So power went out and they go out to the generator and we had that really nice scene with RWBY and Blake having their little chat, which I loved.
Yeah, it reminds me so much of when everyone went to Volume 7.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, we want Blake and Yang talk, Blake and Yang talk, Blake and Yang talk. And everyone was so mad. Then we got it. Everyone was just, okay, fine, we got it. We're happy now.
Yeah.
Very similar to this, where it's like, everyone's been asking for a Blake and RWBY talk for the longest time.
Yeah,
I
like, really like it.
Now it's fine. Now it's like I'm satisfied now. Like,
yeah.
Okay, thank you, done. Like, and this goes again, like Ruby's like, we want to do so much stuff. Give us time. We'll get there. We promise.
Exactly. But I'm glad they were able to squeeze it in there, and it didn't feel out of place. It felt just like the right moment too. So
and Miles, who has read the episode, did a really good job here of kind of justifying their relationship that they've had this whole series. Kind of like how there's always been this mutual respect for one another. You know, they both see parts in them. They want to see themselves in the other person. You know, RWBY wants to be this mature, badass huntress that Blake is.
Yeah.
But Blake sees so much of herself and what she wants to be, what she would be if it wasn't for the White Fang, for Adam, for all these other things in the world. You know, like RWBY is what Blake wishes she was. She wishes she was the child, the fairy tale lover, the book reader.
RWBY still has her innocence, even though she's been through so much. Where Blake's lost her innocence. Yeah. Yeah,
so I really like how they've done that, and
I did too.
See how much RWBY looks up to Blake because you know, because of what Blake's been through and like the huntress that she is, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a really nice. It's really clever. I don't know if they could have done it many other ways. So I think it was a really.
I really enjoyed that little moment. It was so cute. And then we had the Hound interrupting. I love that shot though, with him in the reflection behind RWBY. I love that shot. It's so cool. And that was also in the mid-season trailer. But yeah, I love that. And yeah, at first I didn't realize it was the Hound until I saw the closer look and I can see its body sort of moving, his flesh. So I think, like, I know you had some thoughts about the fight with Blake here as well. Yeah.
So I mean, at first I had no problem with it. It's very much okay. To me, it comes down to this idea of there are fights, and then there are encounters. Yeah. And I think we just have to justify that they're two different things. Where, like, you know, a fight is Tyrion, Clover, Crow. It's Ironwood, Watts. It's, you know, Aesop's, RWBY. You know, those are the fights, you know. Yeah. Where, like, they're choreographed, they're timed, they've got music probably, you know, like, they're the main attractions of the volume. That's where you're spending your money and your time on.
Makes sense that this is more of an encounter than a fight.
It's more of an encounter. This is just like a quick thing, which is something that, like, say, a lot of people complain about. Volume 5 didn't have any encounters. We didn't have any small skirmishes in Volume 5. No. That's why nothing happened. You know? Yeah. It's just the major fights, and there was nothing in between. Yes. Whereas here, at least we're getting something. We're not getting off-screen encounters with Grimm. We're actually getting our characters fighting Grimm. Yep. But we can't just spend tons of money and time in all these fights and stuff, and they're going to be less spectacular. They're going to be less significant. You know, and yeah, it is frustrating. Yeah. You know, especially a character like Blake, who we've seen her fight a lot since Adam, and not really do much in her fights since Adam. I think, you know,
I think also part of this too was her worry for RWBY. Like, when she saw the Hound taking RWBY to begin with, she was really scared, as was Weiss. And I think it's part of her worry for RWBY as to why she probably didn't fight to her full capability against that Grimm. Do we have a name for that Grimm?
I believe I think it's the Senator.
Senator, because
the official name, which I believe it's meant to be the Alpha Sentinel that was teased.
Yeah.
From last volume.
Because with the RWBY mid-season trailer, I know Corey and myself were thinking like, I've forgotten his name, but the professor from Grim Eclipse with the modified Grim, but this one was more. It had a poison sac more than actual being modified.
Like how the Sentinels spew green poison.
Yeah.
This is just like a bloated up version of the Sentinel. Yeah, I believe it's called a Senator.
Yeah. I also did like Blake's little line. Is that why do they keep getting more gross?
What's more disgusting?
More disgusting.
Yeah. No. And again, it was cute. And again, it was a lot of like Blake being flashy for the sake of flashy and not doing anything. And it just kind of, I think it's only a problem because it has happened with Blake a few times. It has, where Blake keeps being the one to get caught or put down before someone else kind of saves her. And I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, it just would have been nice if Blake could hold her ground against this thing a bit more. But
I think that's the main problem is that people. But again, I also, I don't want to use the exhaustion because I feel like that's been used a lot recently, so I don't want to keep going to that.
I know a few people talk about that too because their aura levels, and they have been almost non-stop. They haven't had a chance to rest properly either. Just a small respite in the Shani Manor. They haven't had a proper time to rest.
It goes towards like some people's weapons and fighting styles are just better against other things.
Yeah.
Like RWBY, just needs one big scythe swipe against a distracted Grim. It's like it's funny. I was thinking this. This is gonna be a really bad analogy, but I was thinking like, and especially if you're like a wrestling fan, a UFC fan, or a boxing fan kind of thing. Boxing maybe a bit. I mean, UFC or boxing's a bit weird. I guess this is more a wrestling thing. But like the strongest, most powerful, best wrestler in the world, or most dominant fighter in the world, and I'm going to, stick to males here because males have a weakness. The best, strongest, awesomest fighter in the world can't ever be beaten. Just kick the thing in the nuts.
Yep.
It's the same thing here. Like, just because, it doesn't mean anything just because RWBY once saw this thing and Blake couldn't.
No.
Blake
did wear it down a bit.
It wasn't like it wasn't like the Sentinel absolutely defeated Blake and then fought RWBY mono and RWBY won. RWBY just snuck up from behind and killed it. It's like
she did.
It's not equatable. It's not equatable. It doesn't mean RWBY's better than Blake or anything like that.
No. And I like that when RWBY said, could hear you. I love that little
that was very nice. And again, it goes back to whenever a lot of times this volume, RWBY's getting that deeper tone.
Yeah.
For like serious moments. It's something that Lindsay's really kind of delved unraveled rather than just changing her voice, which I think everyone wanted her to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted to do. I think instead she's kind of just more tying in a deeper tone when it's more serious.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. But again, I just thought Blake, like running along walls, being flashy, it was just a bit. Yeah, like I don't know. I just think. But again, don't waste your money on something like this when hopefully we've got more impressive things because we've got 6 episodes for heaven's sake.
That's true.
And again, it also another main thing too. It's meant to be a horror episode. You can't have your characters be super overpowered, skilled in a horror episode. It just
That's true.
Work as much.
Yeah.
But I will say what was more interesting and something I haven't seen people talk about is like RWBY being dropped, and I guess not trying to save herself of a semblance. I'm not sure if it's just a matter of panic in the moment and not enough time.
Yeah, I think panic in the moment because also her aura levels were already low because we saw her aura flare up when he attacked her to begin with too. So, and she was knocked unconscious as well, and then woke up in the Hound's arms, and then she fell and got knocked unconscious again.
And I guess we have seen RWBY try to save herself for someone before and fail, against the Colossus.
Yes,
try to save herself from the cliff and not quite making it. So it's semblance isn't foolproof in that regard.
No.
But then also we head back into the house, and Weiss is tracking down the Hound.
Yes, I love how Willow is helping because I like how we saw Willow sort of break down with like she doesn't know what to do and she runs into what we assume is her room and then she has the realization she can help. With,
and a really nice call back to the cameras, obviously in Volume 7.
Yes,
call back to that
because she was spying on everyone.
When I was talking earlier about animation, execution kind of thing. I don't know why, but Weiss hitting into that piano was just really well animated. I don't know why. It just looked really satisfying. And I'm kind of proud for Weiss to have tanked that hit because Weiss is a pretty notoriously weak aura user.
Yeah.
So to see a glass cannon
Yeah.
Or ice cannon, I guess. Just to see her tank that hit pretty well. Like I don't know, I find that really satisfying. And obviously she fights back, and obviously the hand runs away. And again, you can say it's like again the character is just sitting there and letting people get away, kind of thing. But it didn't bother me again.
I think Weiss was just surprised to hear her mum come through, like, look out,
I think she's probably more surprised that it wasn't attacking her. Like I think she was just surprised at like this grim. Again, going back to like in episode 2 when the sabers are running away. It's not something you just see. Is you don't see Grim just avoid you.
No.
And I think that's something I'm realizing now. I didn't even think about this the whole week. But yeah, that's why Weiss reacted the way she did when she just let it run away. Because she's like, that doesn't happen.
It was good in these couple of moments as well. Like RWBY said, like when they first saw the sound, what is it? And Blake's like, it's just a Grim. And then when Willow also said, when Weiss asked where it was, and she said, it's acting strangely.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So it's nothing like Grim they've encountered before.
Yeah. But I like Blake being the world-traveled person who's seen a lot of things. Again, doesn't see, just thinks, just accepts that it's a regular Grim. I like that. Ruby's like, this thing seems weird. It's like, it's just a Grim, let's just kill it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which again, it could also lead to Blake's overconfidence, which is maybe why she also didn't fare as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Ruby actually showed more caution.
Yeah, because she realized this is not a normal Grim.
Yeah, because I think once Ruby got hit by it, she kind of realized that this thing seems a little odd and different. I will say, no, never mind.
Because they don't know that Oscar got taken at this stage either. They don't know anything about this Grim. It just come out of nowhere. They don't. RWBY figures it out that it's after Penny, but Weiss doesn't know that at this point either. I don't think, or possibly she does. But it was just, it's definitely something they haven't encountered before.
Something I noticed too. And also, I love like Whitley and Weiss's little like brother sister interaction.
Yes.
I thought was.
Hey, Galen, thank you.
Hey. I thought, Whitley and Weiss's little interaction, like, can you handle that? It's like, well, if you can handle that, like, I love that. That's such a nice. Again,
we need to work on your attitude.
It makes me really happy to see Whitley.
Yeah, it's so good. I love Whitley in this episode. Like when also when his mum come through, talk to him, and he's like, I don't have time for you. But him hiding from that Grim and the look on his face when the Grim was talking to, I love that scene when the Grim was like, I know you're there.
And just before that too, I loved again, like really looking for the cameras and realizing where he was and like her concern for her son and stuff, which is just really nice. And again, it shows that I guess in the sense that, in Willow's mind, as much as she loves Weiss and Winter, they left her. And while she's happy, I think she clearly very deeply cares for Whitley because he's the youngest and he's still around and kind of thing, and he's the one that they're the ones helping each other kind of thing. Two things before we get to a big moment. One, I think Arnold mentioned it on Twitter, Murder of Birds.
Yes, I saw a few tweets of his after.
I think that it seemed that Jacques' password to his stuff was Whitley.
Oh, okay.
Because you saw Whitley type WHI before it cut away. So I thought that would be a nice touch, give a bit of humanity to Jacques, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, that at least does one thing kind.
It's the only child he really has some sort of liking to at the moment.
Well, that's the interesting point because a lot of people have theorized, and I'm sure this has been theorized for volumes now.
Yeah.
But when Willow and Klein kind of give that look to each other, and like Willow's like, "Oh, hello, Klein." Like the interaction seems a bit off to some people.
Yeah, I did thought it was a little off.
And Weiss kind of looks between them, so there's obviously theories that Weiss's father is Klein. As a possibility, which also could possibly mean Winter. It'd be interesting if like Winter was from maybe another marriage Willow had or something.
Okay.
And then you have Weiss be the secret child.
Oh
then
God.
You have Whitley be the actual child to Jacques. Just like I guess is where some people are thinking about that, which I could see.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we need another who's the parent thing where we already have dumb Crow RWBY stuff going on. Which
has been confirmed. No, Crow's not RWBY's dad.
I will say this. I will be more mad if Crow's RWBY's dad than Summer being alive. I'd much rather Summer be alive than Crow be RWBY's dad.
Well, they already confirmed he's not.
Well, you never know though. You never know. But I'm just saying, that would piss me off more. Disc throw, 100%.
God.
And then so the big thing we kind of get is we get that Willow can
summon. Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, it makes sense that she maybe tried at one point to take after her father's footsteps.
Yeah.
Being a huntsman, or being a huntsman.
Well, it's possible that
I was gonna say, was that before the academies? But no, Nicholas would have actually trained at the academies given his age. He would have actually been a huntsman.
Yeah.
Unlike, say, Maria's father, who wasn't, who was just a soldier and just fought and trained like a huntsman, but there wasn't an official title kind of thing. I don't think Nicholas would have actually been a huntsman.
Could possibly be.
It's possible that she either at least can do a summon, or has some huntsman experience or similar like that because of her father. Before maybe, again, just the marriage broke her, or maybe she suffered some trauma as a huntsman and it could be
that her father just taught her how to use her semblance without actually having any training.
Yeah, just be a family
possibly
training.
Yeah.
And it's very possible.
Yeah, and that was a RWBY TAS too, was pretty cool.
Yeah, which is interesting. It makes me kind of think, I wonder if Willow taught Winter how to summon, which would be interesting. Again, maybe if Willow had herself more together before the more recent years.
Yeah.
I guess we know that Willow didn't really fall apart until Weiss was about 10.
That's when things went downhill. So it's possible that she did teach Winter, and then Winter then taught
Winter
Weiss.
would have been around 17. We kind of theorize. Like the age between Weiss is like about 7, 6, 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that would make sense. So that's interesting.
And thought that.
Yep.
And it's a RWBY TAS, which was the first one that Weiss summoned, of course.
And we also got to mention.
Yes.
Was Weiss summoning the Nevermore from Plays and Pieces?
I wondered if it was. I love the shot with the wings. It was just amazing. I've seen some screenshots of it. It's so pretty. That or a Nevermore of some sorts. I don't. But yes.
Yeah, and the only Nevermore I think she's ever fought was the one from Plays and Pieces. So that'd be a really nice thing.
Nice throwback.
And also, jumping ahead, we also got the theory of, can Whitley, Weiss, or Willow now have something to do with the Hound now that they've killed it? They summoned that in a sense. And while it's a person, I mean,
it was a Grim.
Yeah, I mean, Weiss can summon the Petrogigas.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's the Geist summon. That's just a Geist thing. There's nothing Grim about it. It's just that the Geist have control of it. So I don't see why the Hound couldn't be summoned if the
also makes me think if it's just Grim they can summon, like maybe they could also summon other things too.
A really cool fan out of Weiss summoning like fake rubies or stuff like that. And, really interesting things like that. And I thought, that'd be a really twist.
That would be cool.
They defeated or something like that.
Yeah. Korea says open Animal Crossing to Strangles, the first of the birthday thing happened. Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, I wasn't planning to open Animal Crossing today until the stream.
Yes, make sure to join Larissa and the rest of us for Animal Crossing at
Animal Crossing
at night time birthday celebrations.
Yes.
So Willow summons a RWBY TAS.
Yes.
Trying to think if there was a RWBY TAS statue in the previous shots of the mansion. I don't think there was. A head of a RWBY TAS on the wall?
Oh, I think there might have been, but I think that was a recreation of one because RWBY TAS disappeared.
I'm not saying a real RWBY TAS.
No, but it was like I remember back from one of the World of Remnants. I can't remember which one it was, but it had about hunters and whatnot.
It was the one of the Grimm, and it was like Professor Port.
Yeah.
RWBY TAS.
Hello again.
Thank you, Metalhead, for the follow. Welcome to the Koala Crew. I was like, the sound effects. And I have turned them off, but it was a
but I guess the point I'm making is that there's a lot of theories that all of the statues throughout the manor are summons of previous years. If the say lived here for
that's kind of cool. I didn't think of that idea either.
So like someone summoned King Taijitu, someone summoned and also we know that the armor was Nicholas's, like that was his huntsman attire from the painting we saw last volume.
Yeah.
Those statues exist of the Armagigas. So interesting, that a RWBY TAS of all things. It could have just been simply because it made sense for the situation. Or maybe that's her only summon, or
we don't know. But it was good. I love that scene too when Whitley goes right away. Then he's like, "Oh shoot, the thing," and he clicks the button on the computer, and then runs away.
And again, it's one of those things where, when it comes to the non-fighting stuff, the non-encounter stuff, the animation's flawless. I loved the facial details and the movement stuff. Like some of that stuff was really good.
It was, yeah.
This episode. So yeah, it's frustrating to then see like the fighting stuff and that be a nitpicky thing, because I thought the rest of the episode, animation wise, was really good.
I thought it was
especially again going back to that Weiss and Whitley scene with them talking about the ships.
Yes.
Just like their facial expressions and that little interaction was really good.
It was. Yeah.
And then we have obviously Weiss save them from the Hound after chasing after them. And it took me a few repeats to realize that Weiss was referencing last volume.
Yeah.
With I didn't forget about you, because
I didn't forget about you. I thought it was a little weird line at first, but then it makes sense.
Like, oh no, okay, yeah.
It's because Willow did ask her to, don't forget about Whitley. He's a victim in this as much as you are, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then obviously the Hound runs away and heads back towards.
We haven't mentioned about Penny waking up in that scene as well. Yeah, I love the scene with Nora as well. She sort of calms her down. So it's only a part of you. If only Penny was able to keep control of it. But I did love that little scene there. That was really sweet.
Like she does have she has far more will over it than I expected her to.
Yeah, but it did overpower in the end.
It's almost more depressing.
Yeah.
That it's not just she's being controlled. Like she realizes what she's doing, which makes it more uncomfortable actually.
Yeah, it does. Like, she knows this thing is trying to take control and she doesn't want it to happen and she's scared. This part of her is trying to overpower her. And what it does, it's interesting too when she walks past Whitley and Willow, and where you going? She says, I'm going to open the vault and then self-terminate. And I get the feeling that was what's programmed into her, probably without Ironwood knowing, but...
Yeah. But again, it obviously makes sense, because obviously they want Penny to destroy herself so that the rest of the power, assumingly, as far as they can, goes to Cinder.
Yeah, goes to Cinder,
because Cinder already has siphoned.
Or at least get rid of the maiden powers, so...
Oh, just get rid of the threat that is Penny.
The threat, yeah.
How she is, even without maiden powers, how much a threat she can be. But it is interesting, that, I'm curious if, trying to think, because Salem said the puppet masquerading as the Winter Maiden. A part of me, I wonder why they don't want just Penny on their side. I guess they prefer Cinder to have the power.
Yeah, I guess.
Why not use Penny for your own gain? But there must be some. Yeah, I guess I just want Cinder to have the power. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
But then Hound, of course.
And yes, sorry, I must bow down to you and admit defeat. And admit I was wrong. Fine. The Hound can shape shift. It's not just stages and forms he has. Clearly, he can shape. He grew a third arm out of his.
He grew a third arm out of his back.
Fine. Don't tell Kaylee. Fine, you won. Fine. I was wrong once. Jesus. Let's go. But it's also interesting too that people have mentioned too that while Penny has an aura, we've never actually seen an aura flicker on her.
No, actually, that's a point. No, we haven't. No.
Never seen aura flicker on her, but she still seems to get knocked out and pushed aside and stuff like that. So,
definitely no aura flickering. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all quite interesting. Obviously, it's just an aura level, but maybe it's just not as tangible. It's there, but it doesn't really have as much of a color or an effect, because it's it is Pietro, so
yeah.
He's saying Pietro because freaking Pietro. Sorry. So. Yeah, I'm interesting. I remember someone saying that, and I'm wondering if that has any significance. But then, obviously, of course, we said before about, as much as RWBY cares about everyone, Penny is just at other level.
Yeah. I love how she goes, that's enough, and just silver eyes.
Again, with the idea of when she's trying to protect someone, it works far better.
Absolutely. When she sees one of her friends in trouble, definitely. Yeah. She's just
again, it's protecting life, not destroying darkness. That's the point.
Exactly.
It does most, but it's meant to be.
Poor Penny tumbling down the stairs.
I wonder. I'd love to take that scene and put it with Sienna's scene and see if it's the same same stair effects. Because that was a long tumble down the stairs.
It was a long tumble down the stairs. But I love how the Silver Eyes push the Hound back, and that's when, of course, when he climbs back up, and you can see the head sort of it's kind of folded back or disappeared.
It's like broken and just falling the back off.
Yeah, it was very dark. I think because also it comes to realization too, and for us as well as, of course, RWBY and everyone else, that the Hound was a person. This Grim was a person.
I'd probably say I think the apathy was a bit darker. I think
the apathy, yeah, that scene with,
that felt like a full horror episode. This was more like horror while there's a war going on. You know, it can only be so terrifying in that horror level.
I just love this reveal for the 100th episode as well. It's just like, this is a big deal.
Yeah, like this is a big thing for the Silver Eyes.
This is a big thing.
A big Silver Eyes detail kind of thing. And again, it really makes me wonder. I'm really curious if the Hound was something this volume, or this was like a planned part of the story. I'm not really interested in that.
I'll be interested when we get the director's commentary when this comes out on DVD and what they say about this particular moment.
But yeah, we see that it is a silver-eyed Faunus man.
I'm not too sure, like, exactly for silver-eyed, like, or I know you notice more about the eyes than I do. I didn't even notice about silver-eyed. We've had. I know, like obviously there's been like Ilya and Mercury, like this light-colored eyes. It's like grey eyes we've seen before. That it seems. This to me felt pretty, like, especially with Ruby's reaction. I don't know, it was a person that. No, I think it's more her seeing a person rather than actually noticing the eye color.
I think the idea is that a silver-eyed person is anyone that would be able to survive this kind of transformation. I think's the idea, but again, it might not be. But I feel like they've made the silver-eyed mistake enough. Where, at this point, why would you like Ilya's eyes can change color? Like that's different. And Mercury was like super old model thing. You know, it was grey or purple or whatever. It just looked silver.
Yeah.
At this point, it feels like it'd be too ignorable of a mistake for it not to look that similar and not be silver eyes at this point.
Yeah.
And it did have the flickers, which was like a detail.
Okay.
That they've come out and kind of been like, hey, if you got the flickers and stuff, there are silver eyes. And it looked like the same models as Ruby's, like because even Ruby's eyes just look shapely, just like the pupil looks different.
Yeah.
As well, it feels pretty certain, and I don't think, and no one's come out and like denied it. Like I don't think anyone's come out and said otherwise.
I haven't really seen anyone talking specifically about it having silver eyes. But,
I mean, I've seen some people who thought it was Adam at first. Which
no,
is a stretch. No.
But in the credits where it had like his sort of design, it had TR at the top. Did you notice that in the credits?
I'm not too sure if they.
I know it's called the Hound and all that, but yeah, in his actual like character design that's showing his face, it actually has TR at the top. So I wonder if we're going to find out who this is, and TR's their initials, maybe.
Maybe I was thinking maybe True Form, but like I was not Form, but like True something, like maybe like something else, or like Reveal or something like that. I
thought that was interesting. It had TR.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's interesting. But yeah, I love that. There's this really, really funny comic I remember seeing, where it was like it's RWBY there, and it's like it's a person, and then you see Whitley in the balcony. Actually, I think I'm the Faunus.
I know it's a Faunus. I've seen that too.
It's like facepalm almost. Like, I thought that was funny because like I can imagine Whitley saying something like that here.
I also found I thought it was cool with Willow and Whitley pushing the armor down onto the Hound and actually killed it. It was already weakened by RWBY, so that was the last thing. And I thought too, which was a really cool thing, because Grim disappear, humans don't, so you could see its bones still, and I like that really nice little.
But it still even looked like it looked elongated, like it didn't look human almost. Like it looked like it was apathy skeleton or something. Like it looked like it had been stretched out and warped and stuff. And again, it makes sense here. And it makes sense we hear bones cracking and stuff when it transforms, or we hear like in pain and stuff. So it makes sense that like the Grim is like literally pulling parts of its body and like making it longer and stuff like that. And
it's definitely no longer got a human shape to it.
Yeah,
but like Whitley had their huntsman licenses in doing that.
Like again, I don't mind, especially because no one. Especially because it was no one. I don't mind it being cool. And again, I'm not sure how much more it was going. Like it was a cool again. Like I think it was a really cool mid-tier boss just for us to overcome. I think its implications mean more for it in the long term because if it kept going, because if it was still alive, like then I feel like it would interfere with Cinder and it would kind of take her
That's
place,
true.
or kind of like Tyrion, kind of like thing like that. So I'm glad it's beaten. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more, if we see like another Hound or something like that. But it depends if Salem.
Well, Sam called it an experiment, so interesting.
It depends if she thinks this is a success or failure, really.
And one thing I thought too, and also with the skeleton hand, it's very similar sort of shaping to Cinder's Grim Arm.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting too. And also made me think that perhaps that's how it all started, was replacing a limb or something, and after a while more bits were warped and changed, and that's how the Hound became who it was.
That's the concern.
So it made me think maybe something similar happening to Cinder.
Again, if Cinder, let's say, if Cinder isn't a Silver-Eyed Warrior, can she survive? Would the Maiden powers be enough to survive the process? Because I guess the idea is that the Silver Eyes would limit the kind of impact it have on the body, kind of like shield it from because again, like I guess the idea is like if this is like if the Grim are made of like this
same Corey,
pure essence of destruction,
hydrate.
If it's like this pure, like, you know, it kills anyone it touches kind of thing, it makes sense that the Silver-Eyed people might be able to live through that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which again also ties into RWBY falling into the lake in the opening. You know,
yes.
Which could have a lot of different implications and stuff. Which again, why a lot of people think also the Hound being Silver-Eyed Warrior is also a real big red flag for RWBY herself.
True. I really love RWBY's sort of reaction here. Everyone else is all shocked, but she seems even more shocked. And I know people had said like her eyes sort of like the light fades from her eyes a little bit as well. Like she's like, this was a person, not just any Grim.
I think it just ties into like,
I think really
her naive personality kind of thing. Not to insult RWBY or anything, but you know, it just comes back to her.
And when it was done walking towards her with the faunus head as well, you can see her eyes, a little bit of sweat on, like, or a tear, or it's just like terrified, more terrified than any we've seen in anything else. A reaction to this Grim. Yeah.
Well, again, like you go back to like how. Like, look at Jean's face just when it talked.
It spoke.
Yeah, because he had like that similar kind of like, did it? Like he was terrified.
Yeah, it spoke.
Whereas it was like Yang and Ren were a bit more like just shocked, whereas Jean was terrified. And again, she goes up to like them being the more like inexperienced ones.
Yeah,
that kind of scares them more than it does the rest of them who have a bit more.
I like how in this episode too, like that scene with Whitley when I was saying, "I know you're here." Which was so great, man. Whitley, like, terrified. And then, of course, when it kept saying, take the girl. The last little scene, of course, was, back in the holding cells and see what's there. I love how Cinder just, like, silence him and chucks him on her shoulders.
Again, I made this point on Twitter.
Funny.
I made this point on Twitter. Like I think Cinder's backstory did a lot for her. Sure, you can argue it's too late or whatever. I think it did a lot for enjoying her character again. And again, Cinder is at her best when she's just short and sweet, and she's a badass.
Yeah,
and this was the perfect.
I thought the line was
like I love this Cinder. I love this. Just like what? Shut the fuck up. Take me to Penny. Just shut the fuck up. Take me to Penny.
I like when she said, "I'll be asking the question." I thought that line was a little weird, but yeah.
It's like I'm the one. It's like this time I'm the one asking. Yeah, I've got
asking the question, something along that. I thought that line was a little off, but I thought the first line though, you know, I didn't think I'll be happy to see you or something.
Yeah, it's like I never thought I'd ever be happy to see you.
I thought like that line. It was just the other line.
But again, I just no, but I really like just when Cinder's just like a boss, you know, when she's just like short, sweet. Yeah, like this is when I enjoy Cinder the most. It's like these
just
little kind
flew
of
off into Alice.
Yeah, like it's like bye. You're not even worth my time. Like I love that. But,
yeah.
Again, I get I guess the question is now is, do we follow our heroes with the evacuation, or does Cinder show up to stop that? We're going to stay at the manor. Is Whitley and Willow going to go up and climb? That going to go do off the Penny? Like, you know, like I'm curious again. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure where it's going to go from here. I know we're definitely going in next episode because we mentioned right at the start of the stream we have the title and description. Did we have an actual thumbnail image?
Yes, it was Emerald and Hazel, I believe.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it mentioned
which it looks like they're in the room with Oscar as well.
Of
course, but I mean, all the rooms look the same, so maybe not. But also, we also have the relic thing with those two.
Yeah, so interesting if Hazel's going to ask the final question. In the throne room. Oh, is it in the throne room?
It looked too small to be the throne room, like the doorway. I'm not sure. It looked more like Oscar's room to me.
What was it called again? I've forgotten already.
Witch.
Witch, that's right.
Witch.
Well,
with the I. It's not the team name Witch.
So, I guess we're probably going to get some more Salem here, especially that shot mid-season trailer where Salem was like attacking Oscar. No worries, Kaylin. I'll catch you tonight. The thing behind them is the throne. You can see the teeth up on the side. Oh, okay. I haven't seen the image myself, but
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll find out.
It doesn't look like it to me, but it doesn't matter. just a damn.
So, and also we have Jean Renan and Yang entering into the whale as well, and their rescue mission, because it mentions them in the description. So,
which is so funny, because I remember back in like Volume 4 when we first learned of Ren's semblance.
Yes.
And I thought to myself to the end game of the show. And I imagined like Salem's castle in the Grim Escape, and I for some reason imagined then like Ren helping like all 10 of them or whoever that was there, like sneaking around Salem's castle to confront her.
Yeah.
Like avoiding grim guards and shit like that. But yeah, it looks like we might have something quite similar here.
Yeah.
Where like Ren is helping with his semblance, helping
them sneak into the whale to find Oscar. Hopefully they can get out of there in time.
You know, encounter Neo, and which also would make sense too for Ren and John, because obviously they got shown up quite significantly. You know, like John was the one who actually held his ground against Neo.
Yeah.
And Ren was the one that was most
traumatized.
Traumatized by Neo. So it does make sense that those three are the ones to fight Neo, whereas Oscar and Nora, I don't think would have had as much. Of a thing. Even though they were there, I don't think it kind of would. I mean, I guess you could argue that Neo and Oscar, which Oscar was there, so I guess you could argue that Neo obviously took Nora's form.
Yeah.
To steal the relic from Oscar. So I guess Oscar, you could argue, but he is there. But like, I don't mind Nora.
It would be just thinking of that too. Neo might even turn herself into Oscar, and they think it's Oscar when it's actually Neo. That's also something interesting might happen, which she's done already. But they're trying to find Oscar, and she pretends to be Oscar.
I would think if Nora was there, I think 100% that would be the case, because then Nora this time wouldn't fall for it. But I think with Nora not being dead, I don't know if we'll go. Oh, we could.
We could. I just could see that happening.
Yeah, again, we also don't know. I mean, obviously, my preference going into Volume 7 and Volume 8 was to get like the Neo, Cinder, Ruby triple threat, all three fighting, trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
But obviously, seemingly we're not going to get that yet. With Neo not being there, and we got Tyrion, Clover, and Crow, which is as good as I ever wanted. So I'm fine. I got my triple threat. I can't believe we actually got that after all that. I was like, I want the triple threat match. We actually did. We
did get it. But the interesting thing with the title being Witch, and Salem is meant to be like the Wicked Witch from the.
You could get a lot more Salem.
Yeah. So
but this also does tie into, again, like if we are getting another Lost Fable.
Yes.
Through the relic, but this time maybe a bit more focus on Salem than say Ozpin.
Yep.
The title being Witch also makes sense.
Well, that's also true too, because when we did get the flashback, Osmo talked about hearing about a witch who lived in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we've all theorized like how Salem found all of the lieutenants. Yeah. It makes sense again if an episode called Witch, which is also again the team name of them.
Yes.
Being, Watts, Tyrion, Cinder, Hazel.
Yeah.
Just no I. So it's four teams.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe we're looking too deep into this, which typically is what happens. Typically, we look too deep, and we're like, shucks, we didn't get what we wanted. It's like, yeah, well, we just reached a bit.
Yeah. Well, I think we should wrap it up. We've sort of done our thoughts for what we're going to see next volume. If anyone's got any other questions before we wrap up, those watching on YouTube, of course, leave them in the comment section. Don't mention anything, of course, about chapter 9.
But seriously, thank you everyone for coming around watching today. I know obviously it's been a long time since we've been doing this, and obviously didn't promote this too well. I think I definitely tweeted a few more things out before this end, but thank you for the guys who've been here and help celebrate Larissa's birthday. It's really appreciated. If you can come back here in like about 9 hours, there'll be another stream.
Yeah, if you're watching on Twitch, that is. If you're on YouTube, it's already been.
Yeah, if you're watching, thank you to everyone who's watching either the Twitch VOD or watching on YouTube. It really does appreciate it. We love sitting here and kind of talking about it. And I know myself, especially now that I'm taking a step back from doing art stuff and kind of just trying to enjoy RWBY as it is without putting a job behind it.
Yeah.
In a sense, that this is a really cool outlet for me personally. I've really enjoyed being back and doing this stuff.
Yeah. And we'll be doing this every week whilst the volume continues on as well. Yep.
Yes. Very much so.
All hail the great one! And wise Fu. Yay. Where's Pocket Neo?
My chair has a loose leg, so it kind of it tips if I go one way. So, yeah.
There we go. Yay! Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Yay! Have an awesome week, everyone. Bye.